the latest edition of Seller's Corner, your go-to source for all things reselling. I'm Erin, product specialist at Vendoo, and today I'm here to talk about Poshmark versus Depop. But before I do, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel. We publish content every week, and it's all about Vendoo product tips, community updates, and information about how to scale and grow your resale business. I'm so excited to chat about Poshmark and Depop. They are my two best performing resale platforms, but they are in so many ways total opposites. It's a very fun comparison. I will say that while I've been on Poshmark for 8 years, I've only been selling on Depop for a year and a half, and it has quickly become my number 2. In so many ways, it has broadened my sourcing because a lot of my Depop pieces I would have never, ever sourced for Poshmark. That said, I cross-list all items to both places with Vendoo, and even a lot of my Depop pieces sell on Poshmark and vice versa. So let's talk about both: the audience, top sellers, fees, shipping, maintenance, and more. Audience. Poshmark reports having a very large audience of 60 million active users. Poshmark is available in the United States, Canada, Australia, and India, but at this time you can only ship internationally. So US Poshers only have access to US Poshmark. On Poshmark, you can sell quite a bit. Select fashion and apparel items for men, women, children, and pets. Select new makeup and personal care products, home decor, and select electronics is their newest market, launched in 2021. Of those, Poshmark is known for fashion. In fact, it's known for a higher end, trendy fashion and a clean, cute, chic, curated closet. It's a very socially interactive app. Depop is much different. Depop reports having 30 million active users. That is half the size of Poshmark, but Depop is available in over 150 countries, and it offers global shipping, so a very broad audience of buyers on Depop. On Depop, you can sell almost anything that is not illegal, perishable, cosmetic, or electronic. The top selling categories on Depop are vintage, streetwear, and one-of-a-kind homemade items. Fashion. Both are truly about fashion, but they do so in a very different way. Let's talk about Posh culture versus Depop culture, because they're very different, and if you're used to one, you might be a little bit shocked by the other. Poshmark is known as a place for mid to higher end designer brands. And on Poshmark, brands matter. You will see most high performing posh closets have very chic, trendy aesthetics with plain white backgrounds, a lot of dress forms, mannequins, and major brands. According to the Poshmark 2021 Winter Trend Report, the top selling brands on Poshmark, of course, are designer. And additionally, Coach, Lululemon, Nike, Free People, Anthropologie, and Victoria's Secret. Poshmark Bolo brands include all Nordstrom brands, all Revolve brands, all Anthropologie brands, and really anything higher end. Again, brands matter. Depop could not be more different. Of course, brands matter because some brands will sell everywhere, but Depop is actually all about the look or aesthetic. When you scroll through Depop, it doesn't even look like a store. It looks like a super funky, curated Instagram with a very clear aesthetic. You'll see vibrant colors, funky poses, all sorts of different clothing, funky makeup, modeled. It's not your typical reselling platform. It's a platform of self-love, inclusivity, and self-expression. 96% of Depop users are under the age of 26, and it shows. It's a funky, really cool place to sell. When considering what to source for Depop, Really, the funkier, the better. Vintage, Y2K, streetwear, and all of the cores and aesthetics perform well there. When you hear things like prairie core, cottage core, granny core, gork core, dark academia, I could go on and on. Those sound like crazy made up terms, but what they are trending looks. So regardless of the brand of your item, if it fits into one of these trendy aesthetics that's being promoted on Depop globally, it's a great item to source there. Let's talk about listing. The listing process is super easy and straightforward on both Poshmark and on Depop. Both Poshmark and Depop allow for images, although Depop limits you to 4, as well as up to 10 seconds of video footage. Use the videos. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth 1,000,000. On both platforms, you will enter a description. Every single word in your written description is searchable in the search feed or search engine within both marketplaces. They both have similar drop downs for the size, subcategory, brand, and condition. Although Depop has some unique ones about the age and style of the item. And they both allow tags. On Poshmark, they are called style tags, and on Depop, they are called hashtags. Entering all of the listing fields on both platforms is the best way to maximize your searchability and the exposure of your items. As for listing style, it is far more formal on Poshmark. On Poshmark, you will see users using all 16 photos, showing all of the relevant details of their item and a very formal listing style. Depop is not quite as formal at all. With only 4 images, most Depoppers actually use only modeled photos. If you would like to be featured on the Depop Explore page, which is pretty much a guarantee that your item will sell, you must use either modeled photos or flat lays. So ditch the dress form, the clear hanger, the white curated aesthetic. Depop is the opposite of Poshmark in that way. There are many successful Depoppers that do use the plain white background that is promoted and recommended on Poshmark, but it's far less common. Depop is a more vivid, artistic place of expression. 2 important differences between Poshmark and Depop. First, we'll talk about SEO, search engine optimization, on major search engines. If you search for an article of clothing, for instance, a dusty rose pink polka dot dress, you are very likely on Google to see Poshmark listings appear. Poshmark has excellent Google ranking that they pay for. Depop has virtually none. You will not find your Depop listings yielded high at the top of Google search results. It just doesn't happen, so that's something to be mindful of. The second is the use of stock images. Now, using stock images or photos that do not belong to you is technically not allowed anywhere. It's copyright infringement. That said, that is the norm on Poshmark. Sellers use stock photos of their images because they work. That's why the brands do it. Stock images help items sell. You are highly unlikely to have your stock images removed by Poshmark unless they're by a select brand that is very, very persistent about the use of their photos. There are some brands that do monitor the internet for unauthorized use of their photos, and you will on occasion get an email from Poshmark that your listing has been removed because the brand complained to them that they were violating the copyright, and as such, Poshmark removed your listing and warned you. That happens only on rare occasions with little to no repercussion for the Poshmark seller. Depop, however, is much different. Depop strictly disallows stock photos. Depop does not wait until a brand reaches out and complains about the use of their photos. They have their own software that proactively scans all Depop listings to look for stock images and will remove them. In fact, sometimes they remove their own images that aren't stock images if their software on Depop thinks that they are. On multiple occasions, I've had my account suspended for using my own photos that Depop thought was stock photos. They do not mess around. They will suspend and permanently disable your account if you have too many infractions for stock photos. Similarly, for replica, inauthentic items. Poshmark will slap you on the hand and Depop will delete your account, ban your PayPal, and ban your IP address forever. So be careful. Let's talk money. Fees. What are the fees on both Poshmark and Depop? Poshmark fees are approximately 20%. There is a 20% commission on all items sold for a final sale price of $15 or more. But Poshmark takes a $2.95 flat fee as the fee on items sold under $15. That's it, 20%. Depop fees are much, much lower, but also a little bit more confusing. As a rough estimate, consider that they are between 12 and 13%-ish. It depends on how the buyer pays, and the buyer has their choice of payment. The buyer can pay via PayPal, which will subject you to a PayPal fee as well as the Depop fee, or they can choose to pay via Depop Payments. Depop Payments is Depop's in-app payment processing that accepts most major credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. So depending on this, it's roughly 12 to 13. You can honestly consider it 14 if as a conservative underestimate or overestimate rather. So when you're thrifting and you're thinking, how much can I make on this item? So for example, if I sell an item for $20 without any shipping discounts, the fees will be as follows. Poshmark's fee will be $4 and I will make $16. And on Depop, I will make between $17.12 and $17.60, depending on how they pay. So Depop overall is more confusing, but a much better selling fee. Getting paid on both Poshmark and Depop are very similar processes. On Poshmark, you get paid within 3 days after your item is delivered, or even sooner if the buyer accepts and rates their order. Your balance then becomes available to either use to spend on Poshmark or to cash out via direct deposit to your bank or check request. Depop is a little different depending on how the buyer pays. If they pay via PayPal, you are actually paid immediately upon sale. The funds are immediately available. You might be a little confused when you see how it works, because what actually happens is the buyer makes one payment to your PayPal account that includes their shipping fees, Depop fees, and Depop taxes. And then Depop makes an immediate withdrawal of any fees that are owed to them, such as selling fees, taxes, and fees for the label if you use Depop shipping. If the buyer does not use PayPal and uses Depop payments, it becomes very similar to the Poshmark model, where you will have a Depop balance that you can use to either shop Depop, or it will auto deposit straight to your bank account because it requires you to have all of that set up in advance. Either way, getting paid you can expect within a week of sale, hopefully sooner. And that's pretty much your overview. They really have a lot of similarities, as all reselling marketplaces do, but the biggest differences lie in the culture and the types of items that sell best there. Your funky, ugly, vintage, retro, weird, unique items are perfect for Depop, whereas more of your classic, trendy, higher end are perfect for Poshmark. But why limit yourself? Like I said, I'm always selling my posh things on Depop and vice versa. I cross-list everything everywhere in just seconds with Vendoo. Do you sell on Poshmark and or Depop? Share with us some of your best tips and tricks below. And if you liked this video, of course, please like, comment, and subscribe. Below, I will link some more guides to both Poshmark and Depop so you can learn more about each platform, tips and tricks, and expert advice. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time, reseller friends. Happy selling!